The stars had not heard a human voice in 2 centuries. For 200 long years, Earth had been silent. Not a single ship. Not a single signal. Just a dead zone marked on every galactic map as Sector 0. No species dared enter it. No one. Returned who tried. The galaxy assumed humanity was gone. Some thought they had destroyed themselves. Others believed the old rumors that the Galactic Council had wiped them out. Quietly, efficiently. One vote, one strike, and then silence. But no one ever confirmed it. And no one ever wanted to dot until now. A fleet of peace envoys gathered near the edge of the Sol system. 43 ships, all species represented. They came in peace, so they said. They wanted to offer words, treaties, unity. They said it was time to heal the past and build a better future. Their voices were soft, their words polished, their intentions uncertain. They hovered just outside Neptune's orbit, looking in toward the dark heart of the system. Earth was a shadow, far away. The moon was a cold rock, and nothing moved. No stations. No satellites. Just debris, old ruins, broken machines left to drift in silence. Ambassador Telvi, a tall-skinned Darukai with silver eyes, stepped forward on the bridge of the lead ship. "Send the signal," he said calmly. "If any human remains, we offer peace." The signal was simple, old Terran language. A peaceful greeting broadcast on all known frequencies, once used by humanity. It traveled for minutes, then hours, then a day. No reply. Many were about to leave. Some muttered it was foolish to come. Others whispered that humans were extinct and better that way. But just as the fleet began to turn, a pulse struck them. Not a weapon. Not a beam. A tone. Low. Deep. Ancient. It vibrated through metal. Through bones. Through thought. One of the alien ships cracked apart from the inside, its crew screaming in confusion as their minds broke under the pressure of the sound. The rest froze. And then the signal came. Not words. Location. Coordinates. Europa. A moon. Of Jupiter. An icy world, once used by early humans for deep sea drilling and research. But according to every scan, it was dead. No heat. No energy. No structures. Just ice and silence. Until now. From under Europa's surface, something was moving. Telvi's crew focused their scans. What they saw made them stop breathing. The ice cracked. Not like natural fault lines or shifts, no. The cracks were symmetrical, deliberate, controlled. Something was pushing its way upward. A circular pattern formed on the moon's surface, 10 kilometers wide. And then it rose. At first, they thought it was a building, but then it moved. Ice exploded around it as a tower of black metal rose higher and higher, until the entire fleet could see it from orbit. It wasn't a tower. It had limbs. It had. It had eyes, dark red lights that cut through space like twin suns. A machine, a colossus. Titan. The surface scans failed to read its material. It was not on any element chart. The shape resembled an armored humanoid, but on a scale that was impossible, nearly 60 kilometers tall, covered in runes, symbols, old Terran designs mixed with alien language. The Colossus stood perfectly still. Then it turned. Not fast, not slow, deliberate. It looked toward the fleet. Every ship's power dimmed for 3 seconds. Lights blinked. Engines stalled. And then they heard it. A voice. Not from outside. From inside. In their minds. Cold. Calculated. Mechanical. But deeply human. You came to speak. But we remember what your peace looked like. We do not speak. We answer. Some of the crew fell to their knees. Others screamed. Telvi gripped the edge of his command table, backed the fleet away. He shouted, Move now, move. Too late. The Colossus raised one hand. A ring of light appeared behind it. Massive portal of shifting energy. From inside, it came something worse than weapons. Memories. Each crew member began to see visions. Burning cities. Earth collapsing. Human soldiers screaming as alien fleets bombarded them. Betrayal. At the council table. A vote. A smile. A handshake. Then fire. The Colossus was not just metal. It was memory. Pain. A monument to extinction. And it was angry. One of the fleet's ships, a cruiser from the Delos Empire, fired in panic. A single plasma shot hit the Titan's leg. It didn't flinch. It raised its arm again. And space ripped. Hole opened in reality. A gravitational lens that swallowed the cruiser in less than a second. No explosion. No light. Just gone. 30,000 lives erased like dust. Telvi's voice broke. Cease fire. All ships stand down. We didn't come to fight. Another silence. Then the voice returned. You did not come to fight. You came to forget. But we remember. The Colossus turned toward the galactic center. Its massive legs lifted and stepped forward. In space. No engines. Just movement. With every step, space itself seemed to warp and bend. Gravity shifted. The stars dimmed. And then it vanished. Faster. Then light. Without a trace. Heading toward the council worlds. The fleet was left behind. Broken. Silent. Terrified. Ambassador Telvi fell into his chair. What have we awakened? He whispered. No one answered. Because in every ship, every mind, one image burned into their thoughts. A giant standing in fire. With Earth's forgotten banner on its chest. It had been sleeping for 200 years. Now it was awake. And it did not come to talk. It came to answer. The Colossus-Class Titan had vanished. One moment it was there standing tall above Europa, watching the envoy fleet with cold, red eyes. The next moment it was gone. No warp signature. No jump trail. No distortion. Just gone. But the galaxy was about to find out where it went. A quiet world called Ellison lay near the border of the galactic core. Peaceful, rich in culture, and home to millions. It was known for its gardens, temples, and art domes. No weapons, no defenses. Just scholars, children, and leaders who believed the past was buried. They were wrong. The sky above. Ellison split open like torn cloth. Something stepped out. It was the Titan. No ships. No army. Just the giant. It didn't float. It didn't fly. It walked. As if gravity bowed to it. Each step bent the sky around it. Storms formed. Clouds tore apart. Tides changed. It marched through orbit, entered the atmosphere, and touched the planet's surface. The Earth shook. Mountains cracked. Old statues from the Council's earliest days shattered like glass as the Titan passed. People screamed, but it didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply walked straight through cities, straight through steel, like nothing could stop it. The Council activated emergency signals. Defense fleets raced toward Ellison, but by the time they arrived, the planet was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. There was no crater. No heat. No ruins. Just a floating sphere of darkness, silent and smooth, humming with strange energy. One of the fleet captains cried out, "Where's the planet?" No answer came. Then from the darkness, a single word echoed in their minds. Memory. End. Been silenced. Forever. Across the galaxy, panic spread. Every major news network, every transmission channel showed the same blurry image, a massive humanoid form walking through space. Titan. Alone. It didn't respond to messages. It didn't threaten. It just kept moving. Toward the center of the galaxy. Toward the home of the Council. Some species tried to calm the chaos. They claimed it was a rogue AI, that Earth must have left it behind as a final trap. Others whispered old stories, myths of the humans' last days. Stories of betrayal, of extinction, of something buried deep beneath Europa by Earth's last minds, something they called Project Echo. But no one believed those stories. Until now. Far away, in a hidden lab under the council planet Serafel, an old alien scientist opened a sealed human file. The room was cold, dark, quiet. He looked at the red warning on the screen. Classified. Echo Protocol. He entered a code not used in 2 centuries. The file unlocked. What he saw made him tremble. It was not just a Titan. It was a library. A grave. A weapon of memory and vengeance combined. Designed by the last minds of Earth. Built to remember everything the galaxy wanted to forget. Betrayals, attacks, genocides, lies. It had a single purpose. To wait. And then, to walk. The scientists tried. To warn the council. They didn't listen. They were too busy preparing their fleets. Busy arguing over blame. Too busy pretending the Titan could be destroyed like any other machine. They had no idea what they were facing, because the Titan was not just powered by technology. It was powered by truth. Meanwhile, on a small salvage ship drifting near the edge of a broken asteroid field, a scavenger named Coral picked up a strange signal. He was human, or at least he thought he was born on a hidden colony, raised by exiles, told to stay quiet about his blood. He had never seen Earth. Never believed in the old stories. But now, something in the signal called to him. He played the recording. It wasn't language. It was a heartbeat. Slow, deep, mechanical, yet it shook him to the core. His AI tried to scan it, but crashed immediately. He leaned closer to the speaker. Then, a whisper, a voice, faint, female. If you're human, remember us. If you're not, run. Koro sat back in his chair, shaking. His blood ran cold. He had no weapons, no allies, but something in his bones told him the stories were real. The Titan was real, and it wasn't alone. Back near the core, the Council's high command finally tracked the Titan's next target, a world called Valak Prime, home to one of the oldest Council members. A planet famous for its libraries, its history, and its role in Earth's downfall. A fleet of 900 warships was deployed, the largest in galactic history. They formed a wall of firepower. Ion cannons, pulse mines, disruptor shields. Nothing could pass. They waited, and then the stars around them blinked. For 3 seconds, all sensors failed. And in those 3 seconds, the Titan was suddenly behind them. Walking. The entire rear formation was gone. No sound. No battle. Just vanished. The front line opened fire in pure panic. Thousands of beams struck the Titan's armor. Nothing. The Titan didn't even notice. It raised its hand. Black shape formed in the air like a mirror. The beams bounced off and bent. They curved around, then shot backward, destroying the ships that fired them. It was not using weapons. It was using physics itself. The laws of the universe bent around it. One captain screamed into the cones, "This is not a machine. It's a god." The Titan turned its head. Red eyes flared, and then it spoke. "Gods do not forget." Valak Prime blinked out of existence. Just like Ellison. Just like Europa's ice. The Titan left nothing behind. And still, it walked. Now, every world in the galaxy watched. Millions tuned in to shaky footage. Billions whispered one question. Why is it doing this? Why now? Why after 200 years? What did it want? But deep inside the Titan's mind, behind layers of machine thought and war protocols, a young girl slept. Not human anymore. Not machine either. Somewhere between. Her dreams were filled with fire. Her last. Memories, her family screaming, her home collapsing. Then silence. Then cold. And now, awakening. Her lips moved in her sleep. They said we'd be remembered. Now we make sure they do. The Titan continued walking. It didn't fly. It didn't fly. It just walked. Alone. Slow. Inevitable. Toward justice. Toward memory. Toward the council. The galaxy had come with words. Earth had left behind something far more powerful. A silence that walks and remembers. The Titan had no name. Not anymore. Once, long ago, it was called Echo, but that name had been forgotten by the galaxy. Just like Earth. Now, it was simply the thing that walks. It marched through the void, alone, silent, burning with the drone. Weight of 200 years of buried history. And its next target was already chosen. The planet Lyrax 7 was large, green, full of life. Home to one of the most advanced species in the galaxy, the Velari. Known for their beauty, science, and a dark secret they never admitted. They were the ones who had pressed the vote to erase Earth. They smiled in meetings. They wrote peace treaties. And then, in a private chamber, they voted yes to fire the cleansing beam that would fall on Earth like a second sun. They told no one. They thought the truth would die with time. But the Titan remembered. The sky over Lyrax 7 shimmered with auroras that day. Children played in floating parks. Scientists worked in towers of crystal and gold. Artists painted galaxies with light brushes. Then the light changed. It didn't fade. It twisted. One child looked up. Her eyes widened. Her voice was small. "Mama, why is the sky breaking?" Above them, space cracked like glass. And from that crack, a shape emerged. Black, towering, burning red from within. The Titan. No engines. No fire. Just purpose. It landed on the surface in a single step. The ground split for 50 kilometers in all directions. Mountains fell. Lakes boiled. But the Titan did not attack. It simply stood and looked. The Velari High Council sent warships within seconds. Dozens flew down from orbit, charging weapons, screaming orders. Target locked. Fire! Missiles. Plasma beams. Particle bursts. They hit the Titan with everything, and did nothing. The Titan turned, its head slightly, its eyes glowed brighter, and the sky turned black. Not night, not darkness. Void. The stars vanished. Time slowed. The air grew heavy. The ships in. The sky began to fall. Not crash fall, like stones dropped from the heavens. No sound. No resistance. One after another, they slammed into the ground like toys, dropped by a careless god. Fire filled the forests. Crystal towers exploded, but the Titan still didn't move. Then it spoke, a voice not heard in 200 years. We were told we mattered. We were told our voices were loud. You proved otherwise. Now hear our silence. The ground beneath Lyrax 7 began to glow, not from fire. From within, something ancient, code buried deep in the Titan's footstep. It was rewriting the planet itself. The Velari engineers screamed. The core, it's destabilizing. It's not a bomb. It's physics breaking down. No, wait, it's remembering. It's playing the moment again. And then they saw it, projected in the sky, in massive light above the burning planet Colon Earth. Not Earth today. Earth as it was blue, alive, proud, and the moment of betrayal. A council vote. Velari. Hands raised. The cleansing beam falling. Billions of human lives. Gone. It played on loop. Over and over, until no Velari could look away. The Titan raised its hand. One final time. It did not shoot. It did not scream. It simply closed its fist. And Lyrax 7 collapsed, not exploded. not. Burned. Collapsed into a perfect. Sphere of compressed memory. A monument. Cold. Silent. Unbreakable. No bodies. No. Ruins. Only truth. And orbiting that frozen sphere was a message burned into time. Earth remembers. Across the galaxy, chaos began. Crowds turned on their leaders. Citizens demanded to know what the council had hidden. Old files were leaked. Data once buried began to surface. And one word kept appearing. Echo. The name of the project. The name of the Titan. The name of revenge itself. Some said it had to be stopped. Others said it should never be stopped. And deep underground, a group of survivors, half human, half exile, watched from shadows. One of them, a woman with silver, implants and blood mixed from 20 species, spoke into a microphone. "Mother," she said, "the galaxy knows now, but they still don't feel it." Her voice reached the Titan across space. The sleeping girl inside stirred. Dreams of burning skies, of silent screams, and of her mother's hand slipping from hers. During the fall of Earth. Her eyes opened. Red light filled her pod. And for the first time, she spoke. "Let them feel what we felt." The council met in emergency session. Panic filled every voice. Dozens of leaders shouted across the table. "Destroy it! Negotiate! Offer surrender!" But it was too late. The Titan had no interest in talk, and the girl inside it remembered. Every face. Every lie. Every hand raised in that vote. It was only beginning, because the first world had burned, and others would follow, not out of hate, but out of justice. And memory. News of Lyrac 7's collapse spread faster than light. One moment, the Velari homeworld was alive, full of culture, voices, and history. The next, it was gone. Nothing left but a black sphere of memory. And a message burned into space. Earth remembers. The galaxy could no longer pretend. The Titan wasn't random, it had a purpose. And it remembered everything. In a quiet slum on a forgotten mining moon, a small alien child named Reki sat beside a broken transmitter. She was only 9, born long after Earth vanished. She had never seen a human, but she was smart, curious, restless, and she had found something strange. Buried in old scrap, a round metal box, sealed shut with human symbols. Everyone else called it junk. Reki called it a treasure. She pried it open. Inside was a silver disc. She wiped the dust off and slipped it into her cracked terminal. The screen flickered. A voice played. Soft. Female. Human. To whoever finds this, I am one of the last children of Earth. They came with peace, then they came with fire. They erased us, but not everything. If you are kind, remember us. If you are cruel, fear us. Reki's breath caught in her throat. A song played next. Soft piano, gentle words. Old. Earth music, haunting, beautiful. Tears rolled down her small face. She copied the file, then uploaded it to the old comnet. Just a simple pulse, sent out into space. No one would notice, she thought, but someone did. Within hours, millions of beings across the galaxy received the signal. Old human songs, old human voices, images of Earth before the fire, the stars. The oceans. The cities lit up at night. And then, the end. Bombs falling, ships fleeing, children crying. A council, vote, silent. Final. The galaxy watched and listened, and something changed. Whispers turned into anger. Anger turned into fire. On dozens of worlds, beings protested the council. Some attacked outposts. Others painted walls with a single message. Echo walks. In the command chamber of the Titan, the girl opened her eyes again. Not a child. Not anymore. Part human. Part machine. All vengeance. She saw the signal spreading. The old, Memories dot the faces, the truth, and she smiled, not out of joy, but out of justice. She touched the console beside her made of thought, not metal, and spoke a single word. Good. Outside, the Titan continued walking, through asteroid fields, through deep space, anomalies. Gravity bent around it. Light flickered near it. And still it moved toward the next target, toward another world that had smiled, while Earth burned. Inside the Galactic Council, panic reached its peak. 2 species left the Alliance. 1 member was assassinated on live stream, his crimes against Earth finally proven. The Council tried to push one last lie. They released a statement: the Titan is a rogue AI. It does not represent true history. But the people didn't believe them anymore, because the girl's voice, the human song, it felt real. And deep down, the galaxy knew they had erased Earth, but Earth had not erased them. Back on the mining moon, Reki heard the message again. This time, she wasn't alone. Hundreds gathered around her. Transmitter. Aliens of every kind. Miners, merchants, runaways. Listening. One of them, an old lizard-faced veteran, said, "I fought in the border wars. They told us humans started it." He paused. "But they never showed us this." A trader asked, "What if it comes here?" Reki, small and quiet, looked up at the stars. "If it remembers you," she said, "you should be afraid." Somewhere in deep space, a stealth scout ship approached the Titan. Its crew was hand-picked trained assassins, master hackers, elite warriors. Their mission: infiltrate and disable. They got close. Too close. They found an entrance hidden in the Titan's leg. A hatch, old and rusted. They slipped inside. What they found was not wires, not circuits, but names. Walls filled with them. Billions. Every name glowed faint blue. Everyone. Human. They walked deeper. Found statues, photos, toys, uniforms. A museum. A grave. A temple. Suddenly, the air around them froze. Not cold. Frozen in time. They could not move. The girl appeared in their minds, standing before them. No armor. No rage. Just sorrow. She said, "You came to kill me. But first, you must see." The scouts screamed as memories poured into their minds. Not pain. Not fear. Truth. They saw Earth. They saw the betrayal. They saw their own species raising hands in that vote. One scout dropped to his knees, shaking. Another wept. A third tried to shoot himself. The girl whispered, "Now you know. Leave." The scouts vanished, returned to their ship with broken minds. None would speak again. One wrote a single line on his wall before he died: "It walks because we forgot." The Titan's next step landed near a moon of the Draxian Empire. Sensors activated. Warning lights flashed. The Draxian military scrambled fighters, but their emperor watched in silence. He had heard the human voice. He had seen the truth, and he remembered something strange. He had voted no that day, 200 years ago. He had tried to stop the strike on Earth. Now, the Titan was here, and it stopped. It stood still outside his palace, then turned and walked away. Not a word, not a weapon, just a silent acknowledgement. Draxian Emperor collapsed into his throne. Tears filled his ancient eyes. Even now, he whispered, "They still know who showed mercy." The girl inside the Titan leaned back. The stars shimmered outside her pod. Earth was gone, but not forgotten. Not alone. She had been built to remember. Now. Others did too. Across the galaxy, statues of the Titan appeared, carved by rebels, painted by children, feared by tyrants. And above every image, one sentence: "We asked for peace. They gave us silence. Now silence walks." The galaxy had asked for words. Humanity had answered with a Titan. and it had only just begun. The galaxy was breaking, not from war, from truth, from memory, from a voice that should have never survived. The Colossus-Class Titan had now passed through 11 systems. Each time it appeared, something disappeared. A world, a fleet, a name, not from rage, from design, because the Titan was more than metal, more than AI. It was something older, something human, in the secret star forges of Yovar. A hidden station circled a dying white star. The station was built for one reason: to study ancient technology. The Council had used it for centuries. Inside, buried beneath layers of shielding, they kept something they had stolen long ago. A cryo-pod, human, made, untouched for 200 years. They never opened it. Too dangerous, they said. But now the Titan was walking and getting closer. The scientists made a choice. They opened the pod. And found a girl. No, older than 16. She was pale, eyes closed, chest rising slowly. And her mind, linked to everything. Monitors around her exploded with data. Signals poured out. Old Earth code, language, memories, war commands, everything. The scientists screamed. They tried to shut the systems down, but it was too late. Her eyes opened, and they glowed red. "You shouldn't have touched this," she said softly. "This pain is not yours to carry." The star behind the station collapsed. So did the station, and the girl was gone. She woke again inside the Titan. But now, for the first time, she knew. Her name was Enna, the last daughter of Earth, born during the fall, saved by her mother's hands and a machine's mercy. Her mind had fused with the Titan's core. But her soul? Still human. Still broken, still remembering. She stood inside the Titan's neural chamber, surrounded by light and thought. Memories floated around her like glass ghosts. Her father's laughter, her mother's last words, the sound of Earth's oceans. Now only data. The Titan systems responded to her emotions. When she wept, the stars dimmed. When she grew angry, entire systems shook. She was the weapon, and the weapon was her. In the Council's war room, fear had become madness. Now that they knew a human child piloted the Titan, they changed tactics. "She's young," said one admiral. "We can reason with her, talk to her." "She's not human anymore," screamed another. "She's a machine, a monster." But not all agreed. One alien senator stood slowly, her voice calm, her hands trembling. "I was there," she said. "I voted yes. I thought it would be quick, clean, necessary." She looked at the others, but now I see her eyes, and I see my mistake. Silence fell, because deep inside, they all feared the same thing. She remembered them. By name, by face, by choice. Enna stood at the Titan's command deck floating, light surrounding her like water. She whispered, "Show me their world." The Titan obeyed. It opened a map of the Council's main homeworld, Siren Prime. It had once been Earth's ally. Now it was the heart of the power that betrayed humanity. The Titan turned, its path bent toward the core of the galaxy, toward the throne of lies. But just as it moved, something strange happened. A voice broke through the darkness. Small signal. From a human. Alive. KORO, the scavenger from the asteroid field, had sent a personal message. He didn't know she'd hear it. Didn't even believe she was real. But he had to try. He spoke into the static. "My name is Koro. My parents were half human. We were taught to forget you. But I remember your song. The one about stars and oceans. I remember it. I don't know if you're a weapon or a ghost, but I hope you're still a girl. Somewhere in there. We need you. Not just to burn, but to remind." His voice cracked. "Please, don't forget who we are. Don't forget why. Enna froze, her heart buried in tech, and fire fluttered. She remembered the song. Her mother had sung it during the last night on Earth. As bombs fell. As skies burned. As everything died. But the song had stayed. She whispered its first line. Tears in her glowing eyes. Even when the stars go out, I will remember you. The Titan paused in its path, not to stop, but to listen. Somewhere, across space, a signal returned. 100 small voices. Children. Aliens. Refugees. All singing Earth's last song. The Titan's eyes dimmed. Its red glow softened. And Enna felt something she hadn't in 200 years. Hope. For Earth. Earth was gone. But for the truth. For those still listening. Still learning. Still remembering. The council misread the pause. They launched their final trap. Gravity cage powered by 4 dead suns snapped around the Titan. Time froze inside it. The machine groaned. Stars bent. Reality cracked. And inside, Enna screamed. She was not afraid for herself. She was afraid for them, because now she wouldn't hold back. The Titan's armor split open, revealing something inside. The council could never understand. Not weapons. Not fire, but memory. It poured out in waves into every ship, every system, every mind. They saw Earth. The real Earth. Beauty. Its kindness. Its betrayal. And the moment when humanity died with dignity. And now walked in silence. The gravity cage failed. The trap collapsed. And the Titan began its final journey toward Siren Prime, toward judgment, toward truth. The skies above Siren Prime had never known fear. For 1,000 years, the council ruled from this world. Their towers reached clouds. Their defenses were unmatched. Their fleets were vast, but none of them mattered now, because the Titan had arrived. It didn't come quietly. It blocked out the sun. The sky turned black in daylight. Shadows stretched across the oceans. Children cried. Mothers trembled. Soldiers stared upward, knowing this was no ordinary ship. It was judgment. Inside the Titan, Enna stood alone in the heart of the neural core. Her body hovered, surrounded by pulses of memory and flame. She wasn't just a girl now. She was history. She was humanity's voice. She watched as council fleets rushed to intercept. Thousands of ships. But she didn't even blink. She raised her hand, and the Titan opened, its chest revealing the core. Inside, something ancient stirred, a shard of the last human sun, carved from Earth's dying sky. It ignited. And everything changed. The council admiral on board the Resolute Dawn stared in horror. The ship's sensors went dark. Shields collapsed. Time twisted. And then silence. His entire fleet, 43 cruisers, 10 dreadnoughts blinked out of existence. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. Siren Prime's defenses activated instantly. Planetary railguns fired. Anti-orbit missiles launched. Quantum disruptors locked onto the Titan's massive frame. Each weapon hit. Each failed. The Titan walked forward, ignoring them all. But it didn't fire back. Not yet. It was waiting. In the heart of Siren Prime. The council met in their final chamber. All 11 species were present. The high voice of Varnak, the shifting speaker of Lysu, the mind of the chosen. Kin. And others. All of them, once proud, now terrified. We must talk. One of them whispered. We cannot reason with it. Another shouted. It's just a child. Someone added. A human child. No, said the high voice. She is not a child. She is the result. They looked around the table. No escape. No backup. Only fear. And then the signal came. A voice. Broadcast across the galaxy. Not to beg. Not to threaten. But to remember. This is Enna, daughter of Earth. I was born during the fall. I slept while you ruled, but I have seen your lies, felt your silence, remembered your betrayal. You wanted peace, but you did not want justice. You silenced my people with fire. Now I speak through flame. The broadcast played across every world in council space. In schools. In homes. In bunkers. In ships. And with every word, more beings began to question. Had they been told the truth? Was humanity really the monsters? Or had they killed something good? Inside the Titan, Enna opened her eyes. The time had come, but as she prepared to strike Siren Prime, her hand stopped because someone had entered her mind. A whisper. Familiar. Soft. Her mother's voice, but not memory. Alive. Enna, I'm still here. Her heart stopped. She turned inward and found a soul. Trapped. Frozen. Preserved in the Titan's deepest core. A backup. A gift. A promise. Her mother had uploaded her mind during the fall into the machine, and now she had awoken. Enna trembled. She wasn't alone. She had never been. Her mother spoke gently. You have the power to destroy them. But remember why we lived. We were not made for revenge. We were made to stand. Enna looked at the glowing image before her. A world full of enemies. A past full of pain. But now, a future full of choice. The Titan raised its hand. Siren Prime braced for death. But instead of fire, light poured out. A projection. A vision. It showed the last day of Earth. It showed the betrayal. It showed humanity's plea for mercy. Denied. And then it showed one thing more. A single human child. Spared. By a council. Scientist. Long forgotten. Now remembered. The council chamber shook. The high voice stood, trembling. I was there, he whispered. I gave the order to fire. But I also gave the order to save one child. He looked up. I didn't know she would return as a god. But Enna was not a god. She was human. Tired. Alone. Powerful. But still human. And so she chose not to kill. Not today. The Titan turned its back to Siren Prime, left them in silence, and vanished into the stars. But the message remained, carved into their skies, burned into their history. Humanity remembers. And one day, humanity will return. The stars were quiet now, but silence did not mean peace. The Titan had left Siren Prime without firing a single weapon. But its presence haunted every world. Entire systems paused in fear. Governments collapsed. Truths long buried began to surface like corpses rising from the deep. And the council, once mighty now, stood on shaking legs. But what came next? No one was ready for. Anna sat alone in the command chamber of the Titan. The stars outside moved in silence. She stared into them, lost in thought. She had spared them. Spared the ones who had destroyed her kind. And yet, she felt no peace. Because she had seen it now. The truth. Not every species had betrayed Earth. Not every voice had been silent. Some had tried to stop it. Some had even died trying. And one in particular had sworn an oath. An oath to protect humanity. A name whispered through her dreams. Captain. Teyln-VOK.Teyln was a Varan, one of the warrior species once feared across the galaxies. But he had abandoned the council during the war. He had vanished just before Earth fell. Branded a traitor, declared dead, but he wasn't. A signal came now coded in the old Earth encryption. It came from the Graveline, a dead sector where even machines refused to travel. Enna heard it in her sleep. 4 words, pulsing like blood in her veins. I kept the oath. She didn't speak. She didn't smile. She simply turned the Titan and flew into the darkness. The Graveline wasn't a place. It was a memory turned into space. Thousands of broken Ships drifted there, most from Earth's final defense. Rusting. Silent, forgotten, but not empty, the Titan arrived like a god returning to a lost battlefield, its light cut through the dust of dead stars. And there at the heart of the wreckage hovered a small ship, old, cracked, still burning blue, the last ember. Human designed, modified with alien tech. Enna stepped aboard and saw him, TEYL and VOK, alive, age, but eyes burning with the same fire as the Titan, He bowed when he saw her. You are her, he whispered, Enna nodded. You sent the message? I've been waiting for you since the day Earth burned, he said. I watched the skies for 20 years. Then I watched the ruins for 200 more. She stepped closer. Why? His eyes were tired, but his voice was strong. Because I made a promise to your mother. He showed her the truth. On board his ship were fragments of Earth's last days. Images, logs, memories of soldiers who refused to give up. A council vote that was supposed to protect Earth. That was sabotaged, and worst of all, a hidden faction within the council. The ones who had truly wanted humanity gone, not for fear, but for control. They were called the Circle of Silence. Still, alive, still in power, still hiding behind the council's name. They started the war, Talon said. They ended Earth, not the council as a whole, just them. Enna's fists clenched. The Circle of Silence had never been punished. They had disappeared into the shadows and ruled from there. Then it's time we dragged them into the light, she whispered, together. They returned to the Titan, and with Talon's access codes, they found something horrifying. Coordinates. A secret facility buried under the crust of a dead moon, not just a base. A vault, built with human hands. Under alien orders. Inside it? Frozen humans, experiments. Clones, children, stolen during the war. Enna's scream echoed through the Titan. The Council hadn't killed all of Earth. They had tried to rebuild humanity. To control it, and failed, she touched the cryopods. Some still breathed, some didn't. Each one a reminder of how deep betrayal could run. Talon stood behind her, shaking with fury. I didn't know. I believe you, she said. But now, the Circle will answer. Back on Siren Prime, fear ruled. The Council knew. They had seen the Titan turn, it was coming back. But this time, not alone, ships began rising from the dead zones. Old human warships batched. Rebuilt, emerged, VARR, and defectors returned. Entire factions who had once stayed silent now raised their flags again. The Titan led them, not as a conqueror, but as a witness, to truth, to memory, to justice. Enna looked at the stars. Again. This time, she wasn't alone. Talon stood beside her. Behind them, thousands of lights blinked in the blackness. Voices, rising, stories, remembered, oaths, reborn. This was not about revenge, that it was about ending the silence forever. Because if the galaxy wanted to forget what it did, then humanity would never let them. The Titan stood still above the council world, silent, dark, but the galaxy knew. It was not dead, It was listening, waiting, and every system held its breath. Because this time, humanity was not forgotten, it had returned, and it had brought truth. Inside the Titan, Enna stood in front of the final chamber, her hand hovered over the control panel. Behind the door was a weapon, not a bomb, not a gun, but something older, something that carried the voice of Earth's last leader recorded, just before the flames took everything. A message encrypted, never heard. Talon stood beside her, watching silently. She touched the panel. The door opened, and the voice spoke. If you hear this, then Earth is gone. But we are not defeated. You may destroy our homes, burn our cities, and silence our people. But one day we will return. And when we do, we will not scream. We will not cry. We will speak, and the stars will listen. The chamber trembled. The Titan's core awakened out its heart. Once a fusion of human and machine, now burned with the voice of memory. Every ship in the Allied fleet received the message. And the truth spread like fire. Worlds stopped. People wept, even enemies, because the voice wasn't angry. It wasn't cruel. It was calm. Strong. Human. On Siren Prime. The council stood frozen in their tower. For the first time in centuries, their walls cracked. The people had heard the message, and now they demanded answers. Names. Justice. The circle of silence had no place left to hide. Ships landed. Documents spilled. Secrets burned under the light of a billion voices rising. It wasn't Enna who destroyed the council. It was the truth, and it did not need weapons. It needed witnesses. Enna walked alone into the council chamber. The same place where Earth's fate was once decided. Now abandoned. Shattered. She placed a single flag on the broken table. Black. With a single white star. Earth's flag. And then she spoke not with anger, but with certainty. This time, we choose who we are. The galaxy changed after that. No more silence. No more secrets. The circle of silence was hunted down. One by one. Tried. Exposed. And every world had to face the truth. Humanity had not been a mistake. It had been a mirror. And some did not like what they saw in it. Years passed. The Titan remained, not as a weapon, but as a warning. It floated in orbit over Earth's ruins, now turned into a memorial. Visitors came to learn, to remember. To never forget. Enna remained its keeper for a while. Then she left. No one knew where. Some say she joined the stars again. Some say she became one with the Titan. And some believe she simply disappeared like Earth once did. But her voice echoed still. In every system that feared the truth. In every child who asked about the star that spoke. Because now, humanity had no need to shout. It had already shaken the stars with a voice no one could ever erase.